Hey guys, I'm finally filming the Q&A before I head to work, which is why my hair is wet because I had to have a shower quickly. So I'm gonna do that now, and then I'll hopefully have it up soon because I've been taking a while. And also, I'm wearing one of my shirts. It's reversed because of my computer, like it's mirrored, but it says my horse and I have a long distance relationship, which is gonna be perfect for me and Milo because he seems to like taking off long. Um, so yeah, if you're interested in one of my shirts, like shoot me an email because I'm planning on making some more of them soon. But I only have so much money I can put out to buy shirts that aren't yet sold. So yeah, so I'll start now. I'm going to start with the two anonymous questions I got to answer for this video. I got them on my Ask FM, so I cannot include who asked the question in the video. The first one is, who are your closest friends in the horse world? I have a lot of friends, and I don't want to like hurt anyone's feelings with like if I forget someone or something. Like I have a lot of friends that ride and that I don't see much and that I don't hang out with much. But my closest friend is one of my friends that hangs out in my actual friend group, and she also rides. But she doesn't have an Instagram or a horse related anything really. I'm not sure if she uses her blog anymore. I'd have to check. But yeah, she's my closest friend, and then I'm also friends with my friend Sierra and Sarah that both have Instagrams, and Sierra's is CS Equine with two N's, and Sarah's is thoroughbred_fever, unless you've changed it, and if you have, then you guys are shit out of luck because that's the ones I'm giving. And then I'm also, of course, friends with Angie, and then I'm kind of friends with like Tarek and Kaya, but I don't know them that well, so we're not like close friends, I'd say. But yeah, and I'm sure you probably follow them on YouTube or have their Instagrams. And oh, my cat just jumped across the screen. Okay, so yeah, that's that for that question. Unless I forget anyone, I have some people that I've like met online but haven't like met in person or don't hang out with a lot, so I wouldn't necessarily consider them super close friends. And that's nothing to do with who they are as people. This question's also anonymous, and it is, what has been your biggest training struggle with Milo? Um, I've had a lot. Most of them are from like last year or the year before that because Milo is just a dick. Like he's a stubborn dick. Like he has his moments where he's just like, no, I'm not doing that. And then it's almost, you have to make him like, he has to want to do something in order to do it for you. So that's been difficult with him because he's just so stubborn and he's so smart that he knows like if he really doesn't want to do anything, I can't outmuscle him. But we've started working together as a team more, so it's been better. But the one that is most frustrating that I can think of is when we first got him, he lunged for like the first 2 days, then we moved barns, he would not lunge. Like he'd just plant his feet and he'd stop and he'd do it when you'd lead him to, and he just wouldn't move. And like you'd have to like, even if you got someone to like chase behind him with a whip, he'd like walk forward for a little bit, then he'd stop or he'd turn the direction you didn't want him to go. And that was so annoying. And also teaching him how to deal with the hose and to deal with stuff like that in general was hard because he'd just rear up and he would be really hard to deal with. Even though he wasn't that big, he'd be kind of dangerous. So it was just mostly gaining his trust, and it was really hard to finally get him to a point where he wanted to work and wanted to do what we asked. So that was probably it. This one's from Overo over Oxers, and it is, how do you manage riding in times with low motivation or low points mentally? Sometimes I just don't go and I kind of just stay at home and nap, which I wouldn't recommend because whenever I get there, I always am happy that I went. So I kind of just force myself out of bed, set my alarm, make like a time that I have to leave by, force myself to go to the barn, and force myself to get on the horse or at least work with them on the ground and do something. And remind myself that I will not get anywhere unless I get out there, and that I always feel better once I'm there. So I end up staying longer than I plan if I force myself to go. So it's also easier because my mom rides, so she can force me to go. So that's basically my strategy. Other than avoidance, sometimes I force myself. This one is from Acu Prospect or ACU Prospect. I have no idea which one it's supposed to be. Please don't make fun of me. It is, what is your ultimate goal with Rabbit and Milo? And do you recommend starting a green horse from the ground up / is it a rewarding experience? My ultimate goals with them are just to produce happy, healthy, sane-minded horses that I can take to the beach, take to the park, take to shows, take to games days, and do well in their disciplines of choice, but also have fun in other disciplines. So that would be my ultimate goal. And with regard to starting a green horse from the ground up, I'd only really recommend it if you're at that place in your riding where you have the time to do it and the patience to do it and the experience to do it, or someone experienced that can help you along the entire way. It is really rewarding, but if you're not at the place in your life where you're able to do that and to commit the time it takes to that, it won't be fun and you'll end up getting frustrated and wishing you hadn't put yourself in that position. So I guess it's just important to weigh the benefits and the cons of doing that, because if you want to be able to move up really fast, you can't really do that with a green horse, because if you rush them, it can completely destroy all of the work you've put into them. So you have to be able to be patient and not necessarily meet your goals when you think that you would meet them, if that makes sense. This one's from Equine Crazed, and it is, while working with Milo and Rabbit, what have been your most successful training methods? And both are completely different horses, so I've worked with them differently based off of that. Milo is a pretty brave, naturally curious horse, so it's easy to get him to check things out and get used to new things, whereas Rabbit's neurotic and nervous, and he tries to avoid things that he's afraid of. So with both of them, I guess my most successful methods have been working from the ground a lot and developing basics on the ground, and then also just lots of desensitization. Like the first year I had Milo, I did so much desensitization with him. Like I tarped him, I took him on trail walks in hand because he wasn't broke. I took him to lots of new places. I just trailer him out to look at things and got him used to cars and other machinery, got him used to walking over tarps, going through water, and doing like all sorts of things like that. So that's probably my most successful method, because it gets them to have a sane mind even when they're dealing with normal things. So lots of desensitization, just patience, quiet riding, groundwork. Also, I do positive reinforcement work, so when they do something well, they get a treat or a pat instead of, if they don't do it, getting beat or getting in trouble. Because the way I see it, if someone asks me to do something, they're like, hey Shelby, if you do this for me, I'll buy you McDonald's. I'll be like, yeah, of course, I'll do that. Whereas if they're like, hey Shelby, if you don't do this for me, I'm gonna punch you in the face, or I'll never talk to you again. Like, I'd be like, okay, well, I'll probably still do it because you're scaring me, but I low-key hate you now, and I don't want my horses to feel that way about me. So yeah. This one is from Craig Carson, and it is, where do you hope to be in a year's time with your horses progress-wise? With Milo, I would like to be showing like the 2.6s next year or so in either hunters or jumpers, and if he can do higher, then that's great, and if not, I don't really care. And I'd like to have him going better on the flat and have auto changes and just be doing well with his dressage flat work and stuff that's useful for jumping. And with Rabbit, I would like to have him more relaxed, being able to ride off property and haul out without it being a big deal, and have him going to shows and being okay and showing like 2-3, if that, and I'd be happy with that. So we'll see. How do you build up your confidence after a bad fall? Me personally, when I fall, I've only had one fall that ever really scared me, and it's just, it taught me how to be more careful basically, so it kind of did a good thing in that. But with building up my confidence, you kind of just like, if you're not hurt, once you're not hurt, you need to get back on, even if it's just walking in a circle or going on the lunge line while someone holds you. You need to get back on, because the longer you wait, the more your brain is just going to make it out to be bigger than it was, and you're just going to continue scaring yourself. So get back on, and don't be embarrassed if you have to start small with like walking for 30 seconds or going on the lunge line or going on a super bro course that's not your own. Just get back on and start doing something and go from there and slowly build your way up. Do not force yourself or scare yourself or make it a big deal. How are you combining school and work with horses? I take online school, so I kind of just can do it whenever I want. So I kind of do it when I have time. I'll sometimes do it at work when it's slow, so that helps. And my work schedule, I kind of worked around which days I ride or show. So I don't usually work Saturday, Sunday, because if I can show those days, I will. So it's just balance and not having a life outside of it. This one is, what has been your most rewarding horse to work with? And that hands down is Milo, because he's the first one that I have done all the work with, and it also took a lot of time to bring him back to health and where he's at now. So definitely him. What is your favorite tack company? My favorite place to shop is probably Pleasant Ridge Saddlery online, because it's affordable and it's actually cheaper than Greenhawk, and they have better brands. So definitely them. What are you planning on doing for a career? What's your dream job? Um, I just applied for a journalism program at Kwantlen as well as the Kwantlen Farrier School, so I'm hoping to make time to do both of those. So probably something along the lines of writing, journalism, something to do with hopefully equine journalism or doing farrier work on the side. And my dream job would be rehoming and rehabbing rescues and retraining off the track thoroughbreds to sell and just running my own barn. What led me to Milo? I saw his ad when I went on the SPCA site to look at another horse that I had seen shared on Facebook, and I just saw his cute little face, and I was like, I need to go look at this horse. And they don't list where the horses are located, so he could have been anywhere in BC. So when I saw his ad, I went over to my mom and I was like, I need to go see this horse. We need to go see this horse. If he's in Kamloops, we are road tripping to Kamloops. But he ended up being in Langley. So we went to see him like 2 days after, and we really liked him, even though he was a D-bag. And the rest is history. If you had to choose a different show or registered name than Milo and Rabbit's current ones, what would they be? Rabbit, I've been bouncing back and forth between two, which is his actual registered name, which is Minstrel's Time, and then one that I picked, which is Incognito, so I'd just pick one of those two. For Milo, I'd probably change his from Milestone 4 to Mischief Managed if I had to, because it's a Harry Potter reference and it's just really suitable for him. You exercise thoroughbreds and have retrained Rabbit. What would be some advice you would give to someone restarting a young off the track thoroughbred who seems to think his job is still to run? Don't canter. Just do walk and trot work and groundwork, and just work on getting him calm and relaxed. Take him out and just do something like walking the entire ride and then get off, and start to show him that just because he's coming out of his stall or his paddock doesn't mean he's going to run. So take it slow and just make it really small things, and then move on when you feel like you have enough control to start moving on to a faster pace and doing more with him. Name two different things Milo and or Dallas taught you in life. For people who don't know, Dallas is one of my old horses that I am still in love with. Milo taught me patience and not to judge a book by its cover, and Dallas taught me loyalty and just how to be saint-like and forgiving. Do you enjoy riding Rabbit or Milo more? Milo. Milo's more fun. He has more work under his belt. He's easier. He's less flappable. He can go out and do more things. He's just more fun. What are Milo and Rabbit's strengths and weaknesses under saddle? Milo is just naturally super balanced, and he can carry himself quite well naturally. He's still learning how to do it with a rider because it's harder, obviously. So that's probably his biggest strength. And his weakness is his canter is kind of weak. It's been getting a lot better. But yeah, his canter's weak, and he also has a really short attention span, so he gets distracted pretty easily still. Rabbit's weaknesses would obviously be going to the right because he raced for so long, and just keeping quiet and calm, and he needs to start using himself properly. And his strengths, he doesn't really have a lot of strengths right now. He's really good at being straight. If you're going down a line of poles, he doesn't wiggle at all. He just goes straight. So that's probably his biggest strength. What is Milo and Rabbit's turnout schedule? They don't have one. They live outside on a large field 24/7 with a shelter. So yeah, their turnout schedule is whenever they feel like leaving the shelter, which is always. I have not seen them go in their new shelter since they moved once. If you could change one thing about the horse world, what would it be? There's so many things I'd want to change, but I think the main thing would be that people tend to think turnout is optional, and it isn't. If you're going to get a farm animal that is a grazing animal that requires space, you need to give it space. And if you can't provide that, then you really shouldn't have a horse. That's just my opinion. What is your favorite jumping exercise? I really like doing grid work or practicing jump offs. And bounces are also fun if you're on a horse that just kind of goes and is really good at them. But if you're on like a green horse that might take the bounce as a spread, then they're scary. So yeah. If you could only show at one venue for the rest of your life, what would it be? That's tough because I'd want to go somewhere hot just because it'd be nice, but it would also be a huge pain in the ass because I'd have to like go far every time I wanted to show. So I'd probably, and I also can't really afford to go away. But if money was no object, then I'd probably pick thermal because it's close enough that it's right there and it's also like hot. But otherwise, I'd pick Thunderbird and stay close to home. If you could be sponsored by any company, what would it be? It would be CWD for sure. CWD or like Voltaire or something like that. Because they have really nice stuff and they would provide me with the most expensive stuff that I would need. What are some of your favorite horse and rider products? For myself, I really have a thing for breeches. So my favorite breeches right now would be the Elation Platinum breeches because they're really comfortable. Or I do like tailors, but they fit quite short on me, so I don't like that. And I also like equine couture breeches. And horse products for like products using on the actual horse. I really like Cowboy Magic and MTG because it helps their hair grow in. But Cowboy Magic just makes their coats so silky, and like I have the green spot remover and the detangler, and it's just a really nice product. If any of you watched through the whole thing, thank you. You deserve a gold star. And if your questions didn't get picked, it was either because I was asked another similar question first, or it was like a yes or no question or something that wouldn't be as interesting to answer on a video, or I got really pissed off because my Final Cut crashed twice and it removed all the captions I had with the questions on them and deleted a bunch of the names. So I took out a lot of the less interesting questions because I was ready to throw my computer out the window. So yeah, if you want to ask me anything, you can ask me anything on my Ask. There is a link in the description and I will happily answer that. And yeah, thank you for everyone who asked questions and thank you for everyone who's watching this. If you have any video suggestions or anything you would like me to hear, you can send it to my Ask or comment below. And yeah, sorry for this video and I look like I'm homeless right now, but yeah.